no, honestly, like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So this movie is basically like Christmas meets Groundhog Day meets Jumanji. Hey everybody, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. We are continuing with our holiday movie reviews, saving you from bad holiday movies. Alright, so I asked you guys if you had any movies that you were hesitant to see, that you wanted me to review, that you wanted my thoughts on, and one of my watchers responded back saying that she wanted me to review Christmas Perfection. So I sat down and carved out some time and watched Christmas Perfection. This movie was done in 2018. It stars Caitlin Thompson as Darcy, and she is a perfectionist and a control freak. So right away when I watched this movie, I was like, oh wow, she's a perfectionist and a control freak, just like I used to be. So I was hoping that this movie was gonna resonate with me on a deeper level, but the acting and the set totally got in the way. So basically the movie is that Darcy is a perfectionist and everyone is showing up to her house for Thanksgiving and everything has to go a certain way, and basically everything goes wrong. Like the turkey is burned and her friend shows up with the wrong type of cheese, and it's, you know, she gets really rattled by that. And then her friends are like, hey, let's decorate for Christmas early. And she's like, no, we can't decorate for Christmas until 12:01 because then Thanksgiving's over and then we can decorate for Christmas. So in this movie, Darcy has this adorable Irish Christmas village, and she gets in a fight with her best friend Brandon, and on his way out the door, he knocks over the post office and it smashes. So at like 2 o'clock in the morning, she heads out to go and see if she can find a replacement, and the same shop that she looked at these original Christmas villages in when she was a kid happened to be open. So she walked in, she purchased a perfect replicate of her Irish Christmas village post office, and then the store owner was just like, hey, would you like to add this thing that's kind of one of a kind? And it ended up being a figurine that looked exactly like her. So what she did was she came home, she put the village together, and then she put the figurine in the village. When she woke up, she was actually living in the village. So she wakes up, her parents are not divorced, they're together, and then this man that she'd been like dreaming about that was her boyfriend in the village. And everything was controlled, everything was perfect. She ended up having these perfect Christmases. Day in and day out, they kept doing the same thing. But where they lost me was like the acting and everything was really good up until they moved this whole set and scene to Ireland in this cheesy Christmas village. Like, what is that about? So her friend Brandon goes looking for her at her house because they got in a fight and he's wanting to resolve it. And long story short, he gets a figurine as well, and he ends up in the Christmas village. But he ends up like going back through this portal, and then Darcy is realizing like everything is controlled, everything's perfect, nothing is spontaneous, and she falls into a depression and won't get out of bed, which freaks everybody in the village out. They turn her into this princess of Christmas, or Miss Christmas, and she ends up like going through the portal and going back home, and the whole movie is just so far-fetched. I'm just like, why am I watching this? So as a recovering perfectionist and a control freak, I was really disappointed with the lack of depth that these characters showed. They all stayed pretty surface level. Like even when Darcy was in the middle of her depression, there wasn't like crying. There was just kind of like her staying in bed and moping around. And I'm sorry, but that's just, sometimes that's what depression looks like. But sometimes like when you've lost your whole identity, you go through like this existential crisis of self, and there's kind of an emotional breakdown, and I didn't really see her go through that, so the whole evolution was a little hard to believe. So I'm giving this 0 Kleenex boxes, you guys. 0. They're like, when I tell you I didn't cry once during this movie, I did not cry once at all. And that's so completely rare because of how emotional I am. So save yourself the hour and a half. Do not watch this movie. 0. Big fat goose egg. Thank you so much for tuning into another one of my holiday movie reviews, saving you from bad holiday movies. I hope that you found this review useful and helpful. If you did, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and if you have a movie that you'd like me to review, leave that down in the comments and I will add it to my list. As always, thanks for tuning in and we will see you next time.